Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm out here doing some fishing, and I thought I would lay the phone up against the bank, record a little bit while I'm fishing here. I've already caught a couple on a lipless. And currently, I'm throwing the 6 cents panorama on the Ozark rig. Just fishing a little pond in my area. Funny thing about this pond is most guys tell you that if you're not fishing with a wacky rig, you can't catch them. And I catch them on just about everything here. Just out of camera right over here, there's a couple otters that are swimming in the water. There's a little private preserve. There's like 4 or 5 lakes here. This is probably the second smallest. It's got some nice bass in it, but it also has a lot of these little buck bass. There's a buck bass up over there. Coming up after a dying shad or some bait fish. I've been fishing this panorama on this Ozark rig for a little bit now, seeing how it does. I kind of like the action I can get out of it when I can see it down in the water. Kind of flutters like a dying bait fish. But you can see, guys, I'm just kind of hopping this bait along, giving it a rip off the bottom, throwing up my slack line, letting it drop. Most of the bites when I get one on this is when that bait's kind of falling back down to the bottom. These baits are, these panoramas are a little tricky to fish the way, other than what I intended to fish them. I intended to weightless nose hook them and fish them up at my local spillway in the spring. Gotta let them throw out, let them drift in the water. Okay, if the shad are blowing up on the little catwalk or the little walkway, I can nose hook a shad, throw it out, and probably within 30 seconds I'm usually hooked up on a smallmouth. I do apologize that the camera's not kind of in front of me, beside me, it's kind of behind me. It's kind of a spot where I could have the bank to kind of prop it up. I know you really can't see a whole lot about what I'm doing. I'm just hoping that I could turn this camera on and maybe catch one for you guys. I may go back to a moving bait real quick and see if I can't trigger a bite. The first two I caught were on a 6-cent quake, kind of a yellow-red crawl pattern. It's really a noisy bait if you know anything about a quake. Hold on, guys, I'm coming right back. I'm gonna switch up here real quick. I switched over to this Yo-Zuri one knocker. The last time I was up here, that bait right there did 90% of the damage. And I don't know if this is what they want or if I'm gonna have to go back to that quake. But guys, again, this is one of the things that I like to talk about on my channel, about kind of doing things differently. Because this time of the year, a lot of people give up on anything that's got red. And so far, red's been my color. And as I try to turn here a little bit, what I'm doing is just cranking, being real erratic. I like to give that pause, that crank pause, because Sometimes you'll have a follower. If you just keep reeling at a steady rate, you may miss one that's following it. A lot of times if you pause it, you get that fish to commit and you make that bait do a couple oddities. The hardest thing about this pond, this time of the year in the fall, we're almost in November, is any other time of the year, we've got so much, there's so much grass in this pond. I just got hung up on some of the grass over there. There's so much grass in the pond, it's really hard to fish anything other than a spinner bait or something Texas rigged. A lot of times where I utilize again that rig with a Hellgrammite on it. I've done some serious damage up here on a Hellgrammite. I got 27 bass one morning, probably within about 2 hours. They were all buck bass. Biggest was probably 2 pounds. So we'll keep casting around here a little bit. I won't make this video very long. I don't know if you'll get to see this video. If you get to see this video, it probably means that I caught one. And speaking of that, if you want to see some of my fish catches, because I do this solo and I don't have a GoPro or any type of chesty or headgear, you can head on over to FishBrain, and I've linked my FishBrain, I believe, either in my YouTube profile or in the community, and I've been trying to keep up on posting catches over there. And anytime I have somebody with me that can be like a camera person. Oh, yep, there's one. That's on that pause. But anyway, most of the times when I come up here or out anywhere and I got somebody that can record, they don't want to record, they want to fish. But this is pretty typical here at these ponds. They're fun to catch. You know, 1.5 pounds or maybe 1 3/4 pounds. Again, he hit that Yo-Zuri one knocker, and he hit that on the pause. I kind of had a feeling the lipless bite was going to work out pretty well for me, because in the first half hour I'd caught the 2 on the Quake, and they had bit just like that one did. So I think in color, profile, sound, same type bait might generate some extra bites. And that's the first one that I've caught on the Yo-Zuri, but that makes 3 today. Yeah, guys, don't be afraid to come out and experiment with your baits a little bit. Yeah, I'm not setting a hook on that. That's just me trying to rip the bait a little bit, give it a little side-to-side action. I like to do that a lot. Really, when you're throwing a lipless or mush crankbaits, you don't really have to set the hook. You just kind of lean back into them a little bit. I give it a little snap. Sometimes I forget what I'm doing. Sometimes it's barely even a hook set. My nephew comes with me all the time. I've been teaching him a lot about some of these different baits. But sometimes I think he thinks I'm kind of missing a bite or missing a hook set because I'm not swinging for the fences, and that's not necessarily always the case. And again, because I like that stretch and I like to be able to let that bass get that bait, I do have, I believe this has got 14-pound mono on it, Trilene Big Game. I've got my Curado 200 DPV reel. With that slower speed reel, I can, what is this one? I think it's a 5:0 to 1 ratio reel. This is at Skeet Reese. So Eagle Qual Wright McGill rod, 7 foot. It's rated a 1/4 to 3/4, 10 to 17. It's a medium fast, but it is the crankbait model. I've got a couple specifically designed crankbait rods. This one's more glass and it's really parabolic. I love this one for fishing a chatterbait too, because even a chatterbait being a single hook, I feel like when the fish grab at this rod, being as limber as it is, especially on a crankbait, it allows that fish to get that bait. Just something to think about when you're picking out your rod. You can find some pretty standard across the board do-all rods, and I'm not saying you can't catch fish on just your everyday 7 foot medium fast action rod, because you can, and I did for years and years. You know, when I was younger, I didn't have a lot of money to invest in all kinds of different rods, and back then I didn't understand them quite as much. So a lot of my rods were 7 foot, 7'1", more like a medium fast action. A couple of them were extra fast. Pretty much every reel we had was a 5 or 6 speed reel. Most of them were all 5-speed reels, and they got the job done. I would lose fish on a crankbait. You know, I fished mono. I think I kept a few more pinned than I didn't keep pinned, just because of the stretch that the mono gives you. But now that I've done this for 40-something years, experimented around, I get why you'd want to have a specifically designed crankbait rod. It allows that fish to eat it a lot better. Plus, once you hook them up, it lets you keep them hooked, keep them pinned. Probably be the last cast I'll do here on the video. I just wanted to do something real short. Glad I was able to pluck one off for it. I don't have editing software, so I can't fish for the next 5 hours and then go back and edit it. So this is, yeah, we'll do one more cast. We're probably about 13 minutes now. It'll be a nice little short video. You have no idea the water temp. I don't come out here with any type of electronics. You could buy a deeper. But it's roughly 78 degrees out today. It's a nice day, beautiful day. You guys, I'm gonna jump off of here and I'm gonna try to catch me a few more. I hope you enjoyed that little bit of a video. Let me pick this up. Hope you enjoyed that little bit of a video. Again, I'm sorry that the quality probably lacks because I've propped it up on the bank. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video. Please hit that like button, comment, share, and if you haven't already subscribed, it's free. Please subscribe. Thank you. We'll see you in the next one.